Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order regular City Council meeting for Monday, August 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. First order of business will be our opening ceremony, which will consist of the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members who have given their lives for our country. If everyone would please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Miller, if you'd take roll call, please.
Mayor Jacobs.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dolan.
Present.
Councilmember Karafotis.
I'm here.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Show Councilmember Earl absent and excused.
Councilmember Witt. Councilmember Lynch.
Also show Councilmember Lynch absent and excused. Okay, item 4 is the approval of the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I move to approve the Monday, August 21st, 2023 council meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any discussion from the table? From general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, item 5, we have recognition. We have swearing in for Lieutenant Thomas Palacio. And I would call Lieutenant Arnosky up, Acting Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm excited to say tonight we're here swearing in our Garden City PD's newest lieutenant. Sergeant Tom Palacio will become Lieutenant Tom Palacio tonight. As Council is aware, Lieutenant Sean Breen recently retired, and Tom will be filling his vacancy. Tom came to us from Inkster PD over 16 years ago. Tom started out working as a road patrol officer on midnights, where he often led the department in OWI arrest or was in the top 2. In 2016, Tom was promoted to the rank of sergeant, and he served his time up in the Detective Bureau since then. He also became the senior detective over the last few years up in there. So Tom is also an ALICE instructor for the department, and he has trained numerous groups in the city, including the schools. And he's a graduate of the Eastern Michigan University Staff and Command, and he has received numerous accolades and awards during his time with the city, including in 2018, he was Police Officer of the Year. So with Tom's police experience and dedication to the city of Garden City, we look forward to his leadership in the Road Patrol Division. So his wife will be pinning his badge on him today. Clerk Miller, if you're ready.
I, the undersigned,
I, Thomas Palacio,
having been duly appointed
having duly appointed
rank of lieutenant
the rank of lieutenant
of the City of Garden City,
of the City of Garden City,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will uphold and defend
that I will uphold and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Michigan,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Garden City,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Garden City,
and will uphold and abide
and will uphold and abide
by the rules and regulations
by the rules and regulations
as well as all other orders,
as well as all other orders,
be they general,
be they general,
specific, or otherwise,
specific, or otherwise,
of the Garden City Police Department,
of the Garden City Police Department,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
that I will not,
I will not,
at any time,
at any time,
lend, aid, advise, or succor
and lay, advise, or
to any organization,
to any organization,
known or suspected,
known or suspected,
of having subversive
of
tendencies,
having subversive tendencies,
nor will I,
nor will I,
in any way,
in any way,
affiliate myself
affiliate myself
with such organizations.
with such organizations.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. For you, okay? So, Scott, you're gonna sign here. One more. And then one more. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Wife's just gonna come up and do your thing. Okay. There you go.
Yes, please, if you don't mind, we got a minute? A minute?
Yep. Yep.
Come on up. Come on, yes.
Maybe just maybe step back a little, and then we'll get everybody in there. Okay, be careful to step, all right? Got that? Okay. There we go, all right, get me out of it though.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and we will take a short recess to let people that want to leave. Okay, we are back in session. Item 6, we have State Rep Dylan Wagella. He's going to give us a short presentation.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Mayor, first off, I am so happy to be back here in Garden City because my name is pronounced correctly. I appreciate that. So for those of you who don't know me, just speaking to the people in the room and people online, I'm a resident of Garden City. I'm actually the first representative to live in the city since the 40s, since Bill Keith, if you remember that name. And I'm very proud to represent this city. And it's been an interesting 7 months. I was a school teacher and a union activist before coming to office. So we have been hitting the ground running. I have made a conscious effort to stay engaged in the community. I've attended 43 different community events. It's about a little over one a week since I've been in office. In January, I have a 100% attendance record in Lansing. I've had 7 coffee hours. I've been to 7 council meetings throughout the districts. This one has been really tough because Romulus, Inkster, Garden City, and Westland all have their council meetings on Monday at 7 or 7:30. So that has been fun to navigate, as well as Wayne Westland School Board and Garden City School Board. We've had 5 community advisory council meetings. I'll explain a little bit more about what that is in just a second. And what I'm most proud of here is we've continued to reach people who cannot make it to these meetings, people who aren't even watching right now. We've gone door to door, me and my team in Lansing. We've knocked on 3,500 doors across the district, and I've personally done 600 or so myself, trying to make sure that I stay connected to what do our citizens want from us in Lansing. Do they know what we're doing? And do they know how I'm voting and what I'm doing up there in Lansing? So the Community Advisory Council is something that I came up with to create to connect our district, because if you've lived here, you are probably aware, at least my understanding is that local leaders in different parts of the district have been maybe a little disconnected. So my goal was to bring us together, to start talking, to start organizing and collaborating at a deeper level. And thank you to Kim and Mark. Both have made it out. The rest of you, I would love to see you there. We do have them once a month, and our next one will be this Saturday. But that has been something that has been really interesting to see what other cities doing, what are the different dollars that our cities could be applying for from the state government and so forth. So we just passed a state budget. Proud to bring home $800,000 for the Garden City Fire Station. Throughout the district, we were able to secure for Westland $7 million for 2 fire stations, plus money for the Wayne Westland School District. If you don't know, Wayne Westland Schools has a really good career technical education program. So we secured $250,000 to bring back a driver's ed program there as a pilot. For Romulus, we secured for their career technical education program $1 million. And my first bill that I introduced in Lansing was to cancel the remaining Inkster school debt. For those of you who do not know, Inkster Public Schools was dissolved by the state government in 2013, and residents are still paying off debt for a district that does not exist. The interest rate has been so high that they have not been able to pay off that debt. And we had town halls on this, and there's so much more to this. If you're ever interested to hear this story, I would love to tell it more. So that was in the school aid budget until the last day. There are 6 districts that were taken out of the budget. Ypsi Community Schools, Benton Harbor, Muskegon, Pontiac, Inkster, to name, I think that's 5 of the 6. The plan is we're gonna do it in the fall. There was some concerns with ongoing litigation with Highland Park and their inability to pay the water debt. So some people felt that we wanted to see how that played out before the state getting involved in any more debt cancellation. That debt cancellation would not only benefit Wayne Westland Schools, Romulus, Taylor, and Westwood, because kids go to those districts and the residents are paying the millages for the schools that aren't there, and those school districts are not getting that millage. It's a very complicated issue. Beyond that, I am proud to stand here today and tell you we have passed the largest school aid budget in the history of Michigan. And as a former teacher, which still kills me to say, I am so proud of that. We are going to see a 5% increase in the pure pupil funding. We are going to see free breakfast and lunch for all students in Michigan, no matter the income. We are going to see an expansion of the GSRP program, which is preschool. And we have additional funding to programs to help kids catch up based on pandemic shortfalls. That is just to name a few. This education budget is honestly incredible, and I think we haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Other things I'll highlight in our $82 billion budget that I had 2 hours to read. I will say that and be transparent with you. I think the process needs a lot of work. That being said, $600 million for Michigan's water infrastructure, as well as a 5% increase to revenue sharing for cities, 2% one-time increase for public safety for cities, and $416 million to fix roads and build up infrastructure. I think, in my opinion, I would like to see that revenue sharing number go up to give you all more tools to work with locally. But that was in this budget. And I think that was the end. I'm looking for Zach. I'm pretty sure that was the end of what I had. I do want to mention one other thing that I forgot to put in my slide. While knocking doors, one of the things that I heard the most was the issue with DTE. In Michigan, we have investor-owned utility companies, which are for profit. DTE is known for bragging at their shareholder meetings about cutting costs on tree trimming, on contracting workers from out of state. And I am proud to stand before you today and tell you that I am one of 7% of people in Lansing who doesn't take campaign funding from DTE. I'm one of the only people who doesn't take corporate money at all. And I tell you this because I'll be introducing legislation in the next coming months which will try to solve this problem. So beyond the money that you can see and track, DTE, one of the things they do is they donate massive amounts of money to political nonprofits, and then those political nonprofits influence elections. A lot of people call this dark or secret money. So what my bill is intending to do is to ban that practice because, as you can imagine, there's an interest for a for-profit, monopoly, investor-owned utility company to influence people in my position who can regulate them. So if people out there are wondering, why does our power not stay on? I think we need to start to follow the money, follow people's votes in Lansing, and hope that we can put the tools in place for the Michigan Public Service Commission to actually start regulating our utilities the way they should. I've heard from so many of our residents that had to throw out their food, they had to worry about their medicine, that they had to keep cold, and you name it. And I'll share one last thing from my door knocking journeys. I met somebody on the doors who knew my grandfather passed away 15 years ago. My grandfather owned Kegler House Bowling Alley in the 1960s here in Garden City, and I met somebody who bowled with my grandfather on the doors. He was 88 years old, and that was just such a wonderful experience for me. I have one event I'll flag for people coming up on September 18th, and you'll be able to see this online, and we're gonna send this out. We're having a town hall at the Radcliffe Center. It's gonna be on Monday the 18th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. I am a proud co-sponsor of the legislation MyCare, which is Michigan Universal Healthcare. The goal of this town hall is to talk about, is this a possible thing that could happen? What would it look like? One of the things I've learned through this journey is that the way that Canada, although their system is not perfect, and I think we've heard all those stories, the way they got their universal healthcare system was going province by province. So in Michigan, activists have understood that if we're going, in the United States I should say, if we're going to see a universal healthcare system, the way to do that would be state by state. And we want to bring to the community, to the residents, and just talk about, hey, what would this look like? What would this cost for the state? What would this bring savings, et cetera? And lastly, for anybody who wants to reach our office, if you need assistance with anything, you can email us. It's just my first and last name, DYLANWEGELA, at house.mi.gov. And if you so like, you can also call me. My phone number is 248-662-5792. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. I know I just lightning round a bunch of information, but I'm hoping to come here quarterly and give a more detailed update, because I feel like there is that disconnect from what we actually do in Lansing to what the general public gets to see.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Karafotis.
How much support do you have right now for the bill that you want to pass about DT?
It actually, we haven't announced it yet. I guess this could technically be considered an announcement, but we are working with a wide variety of partners, which we will announce more publicly soon. Declaration for American Democracy. We're working on getting support from Voters Not Politicians, Sierra Club. There's a wide variety of people. So it remains to be seen. I do believe that we'll have a massive amount of support from the public, but that's, as we know in Lansing, sometimes we need the bottom or the grassroots to put that pressure on us to actually do what we should be doing. So I hope to report back. We're going to be coming out with an opinion editorial that we hope to get published, and we're aiming for the free press. So we'll see how that goes.
Are there other representatives that agree with you?
Yes, I am introducing the bill with Representative from Ypsilanti, Jimmy Wilson.
Okay, thank you.
Any help with DT, I'd appreciate.
Hey, we're working on it.
I get lots of phone calls about DT.
And the Michigan House Energy Committee is doing a kind of roundabout of town halls across the state, and I hope they will come together with some energy solutions for the problem. My bill, I think, more specifically targets campaign finance reform. So we're kind of taking two different paths to the same problem. Both are needed, though.
Okay. Any other questions from council?
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, Representative. Okay, we have no presentations. Item 8, community events. I will call up Ms. Kim Marquette from the Historical Museum.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kim Marquette with the Garden City Historical Museum, and I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of a special dedication that's coming, Rosie the Riveter Memorial Garden. Garden City has been chosen to host a memorial garden for Rosies. We're very excited about this honor that's been given to our city. And along with that, on Labor Day at 1 o'clock is the ringing of the bells for Rosie. And this is something that happens across the country at 1 o'clock and also in the Netherlands. And so we will be starting our ceremony off by ringing a bell, and everybody that comes and attends the event will go home with their bell that they got to ring. And along with that, we will be having 1940s dinner. We'll be honoring 6 Rosies. Virginia will be with us, and she is 100 years old, and she's receiving her first Rosebush Memorial. So we are excited to have her, and then we'll have 5 others that will be, their families will be representing them. Rosies are between the ages of 95 to 103 right now. So you can understand how important it is that we recognize them and let people know what they did, because they changed the course of our history for all of us. So we welcome you. I know we'll have some of our council and mayor will be with us, and some of our legislators will be with us as well. But Virginia, who is 100, is looking forward to coming out and having her 1940s dinner with us and celebrating. And then we'll have the unveiling of the garden as well that day. Tickets are still available. We have contracted for a big tent to be put out there so we can hold a lot of people. You may get those tickets online if you want to, or you can stop up at the Straight Farmhouse from noon to 3, Wednesdays or Saturdays, and grab up your tickets. Tickets are $25 per adult and $15 for children. So hoping to see everybody there, and we'll all be ringing bells and celebrating and cutting ribbons. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Okay, Mr. Miller, you also have.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I wanted to just give a reminder for the Community Shred Day that is coming up Saturday, September 9th from 10 until 1 o'clock in the City Hall parking lot. Also part of our event that day is the collection of food for the home pantry. So in exchange for shredding, we really encourage people to bring non-perishable items to the event. We do collect a lot of food on that day, so please try to remember to bring that. Also, we'll be doing a prescription drug disposal on that day also, so bring those in and we will be able to dispose of those properly. I do have to put a caveat there though, no liquid medication and no sharp objects can be taken on that day for the safety of the volunteers working. But make sure to bring those. We'll properly dispose of any prescription drugs and to get in line, entering on the Central Street side of City Hall, which is just east of the police station for Shred Day. Again, Saturday, September 9th at 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock in the City Hall parking lot. Right?
Don't they have doesn't the police department in the hallway have something for sharp objects?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So they can take an extra couple steps and go in there. Okay, thank you. Item 9, we have no petitions, communications, no public hearings tonight. Item 11, consent agenda. Councilmember Witt.
I move to approve the consent agenda items A 1 through 5, including 5A and B, as presented.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Discussion from the table.
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
I'm just glad to hear that we're actually appointing someone to the Planning Commission that has construction experience, and that he's going to have a lot of input, and he knows what he's talking about. So I'm glad that we're paying attention to that, and that we're appointing people that have an interest in what we're doing, planning for our city.
Yep, very good. Any other comments from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, action items. Item 1, Smart Municipal and Community Credit Contract. Mr. Miller.
Yes, good evening again, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Before you this evening is our Smart Municipal and Community Credit Contract that we have with Nankin Transit. And this is a portion of the funds that are collected via the taxation. So we pay the WCTA, I think Wayne County Transit Authority, on our taxes. A portion of that then in return comes back to the city. For us to provide what is considered a paratransit service for the elderly disabled for the community. This credit, though, is in turn given to us, but then it is actually in turn given to Nankin Transit to provide that service. We have a contract with them to do so, but each year you're required to agree to the amounts that are there, and that is for our municipal credit's $25,631, and the community credit is $53,173, and that will be credited to Nankin Transit, not to us via this resolution. And so, again, before you tonight is the 2023-2024 municipal credit and community credit for Nankin Transit.
Okay, thank you. Motion is in order. Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
I move to approve the fiscal year 2023-2024 municipal credit and community credit contract with SMART in compliance with an agreement with Nankin Transit.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Further discussion from table. From the general public. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, item 2 is the MML voting delegate.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
is it proper to nominate first and then vote on this, or?
I don't know how,
It is. I think the motion would be to actually who would be the delegate and the alternate delegate. So you'd
Okay.
make the motion as to who you would like to be representing the city at the meeting.
Okay, I'll make the motion. I move to approve a voting delegate, which would be the mayor, and an alternative voting delegate. Stacy, are you interested?
Yes.
Okay, for the MML annual meeting.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Any further discussion from table?
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
is the mayor pro temp supposed to vote if you're not there? Or it just doesn't matter for this?
I don't,
You can elect any delegate or alternate
Okay.
delegate as necessary.
Okay.
okay. Any other comment? General public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item 3 is the Board of Review alternate meeting dates. Mr. Marciniak.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you is a resolution to set alternate dates for the July and December Boards of Review. The state requires such a resolution in order to change, unless it's in your charter, and to change those dates. They're prescribed as the second and third Tuesday after the month for December and July. So we want to be able to have the ability to move them as necessary in order to make sure we got a full board that comes. These are the non-public boards of review, so it's just the board members and our assessor going through basically completing paperwork in order to make adjustments to the tax roll. We still will hold them on the proper weeks according to the state, but we just want to be able to not have to have them on a Tuesday.
Okay, anyone have a question for Mr. Marciniak? Okay, motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Witt.
I move to adopt the attached resolution to set alternative meeting dates for the Board of Review in July and December.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Any further comments? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4 is the managerial audit. Mr. Doherty.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you, council, on your table is a little more detail of the actual information received from Plant Moran other than my cover letter that was in the actual package. As you'll see, number 1, looking at statistical review of the mutual aid, including the 5-year runs from aid given to other cities as well as aid received. Then they also set up number 3 there, the baseline service delivery, basically to document the history of the workloads, including incidents, severity, time of day, other performance indicators. They're also looking at the EMS incidents, where they'll explore broad incidents types of based on severity, resource deployment of patterns of assistance with the neighboring jurisdictions. And then pretty much in the end there, as E says, any other indications as we go through between the fire chief and myself or staff that they may be able to look into. Under recommendations, in the end, they'll have a recommendation process for mutual aid improvement, as well as they'll put a final presentation together of the findings to the city council for process improvement. So I did talk to the fire chief, of course, as well with Plant Moran, and he's very supportive of moving forward to get this information together to see where they are in terms of success rates. Thank you.
Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve an agreement with the Plant Moran Consulting Firm to perform a managerial audit of the fire department's mutual aid and auto aid programs, as well as other operations not to exceed $20,000.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Any discussion from the table?
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
this list of things, the Councilmember Earl is not here today, and he was the one that suggested that we make this a little bit more broad, but it seems like it's mostly the mutual aid. Is there anything else in here that we said specifically that we wanted?
When I talked to him, when he got his packet, he seemed to be fine with it. He said he was good with this, if that means anything.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Section 3, the baseline service delivery includes beyond the auto and mutual aid.
So it's additional data that we already have though, right? So all this is information that we already have, and it's going to go through Plant Moran, right?
Yeah, I don't know, I'd say that we have mutual auto aid information, yes, it comes from 911 dispatch, but it's not put together in terms of a full report, as well as,
it's always in here that it says we will not seek external validation of the data, so it's still just going on the stuff that we already have.
well, again, it doesn't come from the city, I think that was the misunderstanding, somebody asked me once before about that it's just the fire department's giving the information, it comes from an external source of when we're going and where they're going, so,
But this says that we're not seeking external validation of the data.
but that's where the information comes from, so it's not the fire department saying, here, we feel we went on 3 calls yesterday, it's literally coming from 911 dispatch. Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion from general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-2. Item 4, ordinance amendment, Chapter 124, marijuana establishment regulations. This is just to call a public hearing.
Why doesn't it say that? Okay.
Motion is in order. Call for a public hearing.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Motion to call a public hearing for Monday, September 25th, 2023 at 7 p.m. to amend Chapter 124 of the Garden City Ordinance regarding adult use marijuana.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. This is just calling for a public hearing, so there's no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, item 12, other business. There is none. Public comment. You'll have 3 minutes to speak on non-agenda items.
Frank's the, I'm not sure, Frank, the one, Bart.
Frank.
Yes.
I'll call Frank up. Stanis Slatus. Hopefully I was close. Close?
I've been a resident of Garden City. Well, I grew up in Garden City. Graduated class 73 at Garden City East High School. I live on Barton Street now in Garden City. I love Garden City, right? Okay, I used to be a builder, and I just want to find out about the LA Fitness site over there. And I want to ask if anybody has thought about turning that into a downtown center like Plymouth. You know, like Plymouth's got the fountain and they got the beautiful downtown area. Has anybody thought about doing something like that with that particular? I know Garden City doesn't own it. LA Fitness owns it. They want $5 million for it. But there's a lot of things you can do to zoning, working with them to try to make something like that happen. Is that a possibility, or has Garden City looked into anything like that? Seems like a great location for a downtown Garden City. Am I wrong on that?
I'll answer the question at the end when we're allowed to.
All right, well, I'm envisioning, I was just in downtown Plymouth envisioning a beautiful fountain. It doesn't have to be big, you know, circular thing, maybe a bell tower with some bells ringing. How about some apartments ringing around with shops on the bottom? You know, there's things, government grants, to encourage them to build this in cooperation with Garden City. You know, tax abatements, et cetera, grants to help them, encourage them to want to do that. And that's about it. I talked to Stacy today, and she said that she suggested another spot. Where was that at?
We talked about the park that was possibly going from the DDA, but when you talked
Right,
about,
but you can connect something like that too, you know? and,
all right, you were talking about housing also, that's why I thought that was a great
and
idea
there's
if you
some
came to the
easy-
meeting.
Yeah, there's some easy access routes to get into this little downtown area. I think from Ford Road, from Middle Belt Road. I'm not sure the other street on the other side, but wouldn't that be beautiful?
I'll try and answer as much as I
Okay,
can later on.
I'm pretty much done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
At the
Okay.
end, we'll we'll answer. We'll try to
Okay.
give you an
Should I
answer.
go grab a seat then?
Sure. Thank you. Anybody else with public comments? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name when you come up.
My name is Sandra Iannetta, and I live across the street at the senior. We're having a problem. They are repaving the parking lot. They are. It's not the whole parking lot, it's sections of the parking lot. And they told us on Friday that we have to move our cars, that we could park it in the police lot during the day, but at night, where are we to park it? You know, you can only park so many cars on the street, and us old folks with walkers, you know, we can't walk from 2 blocks away to the center. Is it possible that we can park in the police lot while they're doing this work overnight, that we won't get ticketed or towed? Because we were told several years ago that we can't park there overnight or we'll be ticketed and towed.
When are, I'm supposed to answer at the end, but when are they planning all this?
They started today, and they told us Friday. And when we asked them where to park, I don't know, we don't know.
I'll get with administration after, and maybe we can come up with something to try and help you, but it sounds like the Towers has a communication issue.
Yeah, big time.
A big time.
But
Well, yes,
when
ma'am.
it's not, when they're not working like that on the parking lot or whatever, can we still park over in the police lot overnight if we have to?
I will get with administration and hopefully come up, we'll talk after.
And if you do, can you send a letter to the manager and let her know? I mean, so the residents know, because she doesn't, she's terrible. I'm honest, no, she is.
Okay.
And when you know, there's been many people gone in the office and asked her, and she always tells you she doesn't know or she's busy, she can't talk to you now. And I mean, this was brought up Friday, we got a note in our doors saying, we're gonna
Starting
start working
Monday.
on the parking lot on Monday, you gotta have your cars out in the morning. Well, and then where are you to park? You know.
I understand, it's, we'll
It's-
see,
What the problem is, it's not a big enough parking lot, and when they say they're going to add on, they tell us then we don't have it in the budget, which you know how
we've
a
heard,
budget is.
yeah, we've heard that argument from them
Yes.
before.
We just don't want to get towed or get a ticket if we park over there anytime overnight.
We'll talk with administration and see.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, city managers report.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a lot of swearing-ins during our meetings, and of course, we congratulate everybody, and I'd certainly want to congratulate Lieutenant Tom Palaccio for tonight being promoted to lieutenant, but I wanted to point something out most people didn't recognize, is that to indicate the family atmosphere we have and the staff really supporting each other, for him to receive that position, he was promoted over 2 other officers during the interview process, and they were here with cameras and family and supporting him, even though obviously they lost in the process, and that's just something you see behind the scenes a little bit. So it brought joy to my eyes as I looked across and saw the employees supporting each other. They would have all loved to have the same position, but they were there for their comrades and in arms, and that's wonderful to see. Also, just, I know we're going to mention some things, I'm sure, about Annie will go by, but I just want to point out that Councilman Earl, he's not here tonight, but he did show up a lot on stage for Annie, for those that didn't see it. And I had to ask him by email if if that was his normal persona as a mean, angry police officer when he was a sheriff, or yelling at little redhead girls, or if he was actually acting. So that was wonderful. And then the mayor himself playing Wacky, the dumb mannequin, was again acting. I'm not sure.
I was told it's a doll.
What's that?
I was told it's a doll.
He played a doll. It was wonderful to see sitting in the audience and seeing council people involved on the stage show. So that's wonderful. But that's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Member Karafotis.
Two things. I know that we talked about this before. I just want to make sure that the planning commission is on track about our master plan.
City clerk?
Sorry, I was just writing down what you had talked about.
No one could
Sorry.
hear the head bob.
All right, yes. We are, we've talked about it and talked about the, the first steps that they're required to do, and that's about where we're at. But we're looking at that in the review portion that they can do without a full revision, is what they're looking at.
Right, is it on the schedule, like for a planning commission meeting yet?
It's not on the schedule yet.
Is there a timeline for that?
No, I don't have one yet.
I know the Parks and Recreation plan will be moving soon, quickly, and that'll have a lot of community meetings for that.
Okay. And then I'm hopeful that we'll be able to accommodate the seniors at the towers for whatever they need during the time of construction. I don't think parking should be a big issue with seniors. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Squires.
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, congrats to Lieutenant Palacio. His dad was here beaming tonight, who I've known for many years. And I also wanted to thank the Garden City Police Department for the wonderful job they did with the legacy run that came through. I heard a lot of comments about how smoothly it ran. And thank you to all the residents that came out and stood on the sides welcoming them in. And that's, I guess, about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Just a couple quick things. The Garden City schools are holding a bounce back to school on August 31st at Memorial School from 4 to 7. I believe they may still be looking for some volunteers also, so you could let the school board know if you're willing to volunteer for that. The Kiwanis and the Rotary will both have a presence there with, Kiwanis will be giving away some free books to the kids, and I'm not positive what Rotary's going to do, but they'll have a presence there also. I do want to mention that I am very bummed that I missed Annie. All of the, yeah, I was, actually I was up in Frankenmuth at a Kiwanis conference, so I had no choice.
It was fun.
I would have been there, I promise. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilmember Witt.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Congrats on a great show to the Garden City Community Theater for their production of Annie. Thanks to all the special guest appearances, including our mayor, David Kniezek, Ron Hilliard, and then Wayne County Executive Warren Evans showed up as well, which is awesome. Having some of the higher names up, as well as our mayor going in and supporting community theater and the arts. Wednesday, August 23rd is Top Gun Maverick at Rotary Park. Starts at dusk. I will have free ice cream again donated from King Cone, as well as I believe the Hockey Association is doing drinks and candy for sale. So bring the family out, blankets, pillows, lawn chairs, whatever you guys are into. But Top Gun Maverick, it's the first movie that we've done that's a little bit of for an older audience as well as kids. And I think that is all that I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Miller.
Yes, I just had one item. If people are getting their buzz with the water bill, I still have the want ad for looking for election inspectors and also early voting center workers that really will become employees of the city during that time, the 9 days of early voting. But again, if you have time and you are interested in the election process and being part of democracy, you can pick up an application at City Hall. It's online, or I can even email it to you. We're starting to prepare for the 2024 election cycle, and I just want to make sure that we have enough staff members and election inspectors to help with the voting process. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Councilmember Squires.
I did forget something. As an active lifetime member of the American Legion Riders here in Garden City, I would like to thank our mayor for all the help that he gave us for our legacy run.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, a couple of,
Can I ask one question about Manchester? How many hours are you looking for people for the electoral process? I mean, is this something you're signing up for months in advance, or 4 hours a week, or just as a guess?
Well, for the 9-day early voting center, it's been recommended that we get somebody that will commit to the 9 days, and it would be 8 hours a day. We may be able to have, some part-time people coming in, but if it's a chairperson or something, they have to be present at the beginning and the end of each day. So it will be 9 days. We're talking about, soon there'll be a resolution before you, talking about the hours and the days that'll be involved. And then, of course, Election Day is an all-day event, beginning at 6 a.m., ending at 8. And again, we like to have people that are there all day, because when you are affirming to the valid 0 votes in the morning, at the end of the night, we want you to affirm how many votes were tallied at the precinct. So it is a long day, but we do offer meals. Water is present, and then, of course, at the early voting center, it's going to hopefully be at the police station, is what we're recommending. You'll be able to be there and then working, and then get a lunch hour too. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a couple of things. Mr. Frank, I'll try not to butcher the name again. As you know, we do not own the property, LA Fitness does. There have been ideas thrown around about putting in stuff like Plymouth, the fountain, and stuff like that. The city will not buy it. We don't, obviously, we lose the revenue if we buy it. But if somebody else would do it, we'd love to work with them and figure something out. We need something in there, and would love it. There's the idea that DDA had years ago that I'm sure Councilmember Karafotis mentioned about the park across the street that we're looking at possibly putting in. And that's, I think, still out there, just on the back burner right now. So there are thoughts going on about that. Not right now. As far as Annie, I played a really small part. We had just a guest thing. Councilman Earl had a little bigger role, but the kids, and there were a lot of kids, obviously Annie, a lot of orphans, and there were kids. I believe the one was about 5, and I watched kind of while they built the set, and then we're rehearsing, and it's kind of neat to see that behind the scenes activity, because Mr. Bennett, the director, doesn't mind if you're making noise and doing all that while they're rehearsing, because he figures if they can go through it with all the distractions, they can do it in front of people, and they did, and they killed it. And my ventriloquist, Caleb, did a great job in leading me in the right direction, along with Mr. Evans and Commissioner Kniezek and Weatherman Ron Hilliard. But they did a phenomenal job. They were all good. Even Sandy, the dog, was awesome. Along with Councilmember Squires, I want to thank a lot of people for helping with the American Legion yesterday. There were approximately 330 bikes that came in, and they were a lot from out of state, and everyone I talked to was so positive about the residents of Garden City coming out, cheering them on. They said it was one of the better, if not the best, support that they've received. And for those of you that don't know what they do, they come out, they raise money for veterans that have lost their lives, and they give scholarships to the children, and that's what the money goes for. And I think they've raised like $15 million since they started it. So it was great. Our police department, they were so impressed with the police escort coming in. The fire department that had the flag up over by their parking lot, Cambridge School and Mr. Fisher for allowing them to park all their bikes there while the festivities went on. Obviously, the American Legion that worked for weeks on getting it ready. It was just a great event, and everybody that rode in it was really impressed and had nothing but good to say about Garden City. And that's, I was really proud to represent this council and the city in accepting their accolades. They were well earned. So thank you very much to everybody. And having said that, this meeting is adjourned.